Hello and welcome to one and all. So in this class, we'll check out what are all the measures to solve the problems of small scale industries in India. So in the previous class, we have discussed about I explained to you about the various problems faced by the small scale industries, starting from finance to raw materials to training, all those things. So now let us check out what are all the measures suggested as well as what are all the measures taken by the government to help the small scale industries. So before moving to the proper measures, first let us check out what are all the suggestions for survival and growth of small scale industries. Okay, basically, what should the government do for the survival of small scale industries? So based on the problems, what are all the steps the government has to take? So the first and foremost, it is the government has to provide adequate credit facilities. The first problem they are facing is the shortage of finance. So the government has to see to it that the small scale industries are getting the required amount of credit facilities. And then the next thing is the government should help them in conducting a survey. So in conducting a survey, the project planning is not there, isn't it? Just like that, the financial institutions cannot be advised to provide credit to the small scale industries. Somebody has to make a survey to say and advise whether whatever the project, whatever the venture that is started by the small scale producer is viable or not. So since they are not in a position to make that study, the project feasibility survey is not being done, isn't it? So the government should assist the small scale producers in conducting a survey about the viability of the existing and also for the new small scale industries and draw or prepare a program for them. Basically advising how to run so what are all the things has to be done for the kind of survival of this particular business. And then the next, after preparing the program, it is necessary to provide the proper training facilities to the small scale entrepreneurs. If they are lacking in the training, if they are lacking in the knowledge, they have to be given the proper training. And another most important area is the government should assist or supply of quality raw materials in adequate quantity. So they are facing both the problem of quality as well as quantity, isn't it? Of adequate in adequate quantities and at lesser price. So that is the next thing the government has to do. Then the another area what the government is to assist is to provide better infrastructural facilities, especially the power supply and of course transport, communication, all those things. So the better infrastructural facilities and assisting the small scale industries in marketing their products. So all these areas they are finding problem, isn't it? So marketing their products and helping them to improve their technology, improving their techniques of production, and also maintaining the quality of the product of their products. And finally, the government has to reduce the import duty and provide export incentives to the small scale. Whatever the raw materials or anything, if they have to import from the other countries, for that the duty has to be reduced. And if the small scale industries products are can be exported, so for those kind of products, the government has to give the export subsidies or export incentives. So these are all the things suggested the government can do for the basic survival of the small scale industries. Now let us move on to the main part. What are all the measures to solve the problem of small scale industries? So the first area, credit facilities. So credit facilities. So what the small scale industries, they need credit at lower rate of interest by banks and other financial, you can say specialized financial institutions. So they have to lower rate of interest by banks and other specialized financial institutions. So in this connection, the government has established something called as the SIBI, that is small industries. These are all the specialized financial institutions that are catering to the financial needs of the small scale industries. So small, the name itself says Small Industries Development Bank of India. And then different state government, they have established the SFC, that is the State Finance Corporation. So these two financial institutions, they mainly cater to the needs of the small scale industries. And apart from that, commercial banks also, they are apart from the large scale industries, they are also catering to the small needs of the financial needs of the small scale industries. So this is some specialized financial institution the government has established to cater to the financial needs of the small scale industries. Okay, then the next what the government has done is establishment of industrial estates. So the industrial estates, it is a place where number of small scale industries are established, are started, and this is a place where all the infrastructural facilities are provided by the government. So all the infrastructural facilities are developed by the government. See, basically, if the government acquires a place mostly in the semi-open areas, and they whatever the requirements of, apart from the basic infrastructural facilities like power, roads, etc., water supply, apart from all the conducting a blast furnace or workshop and all those things will be provided by the government. and like exhibition, the stalls like thing will be created and it will be leased to the small scale producers. Okay, so that is the industrial estates facilities and leased to the several small scale industry. So they will have the all the basic amenities to run their business. Okay, so the government has started this in the industrial estates, and many number of industrial estates should be established by the government to cater to the needs of the small scale. So they will have all the advantages of large scale production, because all so many small scale units are concentrated in that particular area. So it is like a one big large industry. So they will have all the advantage economies of scale or the advantages of large scale production. So any number of industrial estates should be started by the government. All the basic facilities will be provided in that particular area. Okay, so that is the second measure. Then the third one is the testing laboratories. So there should be to test because there is a complaint, isn't it? The products of the small scale industries are not able to compete with the products of the large scale units, and they found to be wanting in quality. So there should be some testing method to test the products of the small scale producers, especially the cottage industries, to maintain their quality. So for this also, the government has established the testing laboratories in several places across the country. Okay. Then the next one is the supply of designs. So since the small scale industry, they are unable to make the survey and they are using the old and outdated methods, and they lack that kind of awareness and knowledge. So it is necessary for the government to supply the new designs of new models, so that they can change their product according to the changing taste of the consumers. So supply of designs of new models and designs to the small scale producers. If it's a large scale producer, all this can be undertaken on their own. They don't expect the government to help them in all these areas, except maybe for infrastructural facilities or to provide the credit facilities by the banks and financial institutions. But considering the small scale producer, he can't do. The small scale producer is not in a position to undertake all these things. So he expects the assistance from the government in all these areas. And coming to the publicity, so they are not able to have a showroom, or they lack in that marketing techniques, isn't it? So in this way, the government can assist by setting up exhibitions, display centers. So it can be both within as well as the outside the country. So there should be some showroom displaying the products of the small scale industries, especially our handicrafts and handlooms outside the country. So that will promote the sales of their products, to promote the sales of their products. So we must have, so periodically we are having that exhibitions, and you must have heard about this Lapakshi showroom. So like that, different states, they have established their own showrooms and conducting the exhibitions. This is indirectly marketing the products of the small scale industries, especially the cottage industries. And then the next area is facility of raw materials. So what the government does is, on the one hand, the government imports raw materials, whatever the raw materials required for the small scale industries, raw materials for the cottage and small scale industries, and also sells them at lower prices. Apart from procuring, not only importing, apart from procuring for them, procuring the raw materials for the small scale industries locally and domestically. So this is main reason why the government is coming forward to import the raw materials to the small scale and cottage industries, is that most of the products of the small scale industries and cottage industries, they can be exported. So if those, in that way, the government can, it is possible to get more and more amount of foreign exchange revenue. So in order to take that advantage also, the government is willing to import the raw materials required for the small scale industries. Okay, and the next one is the purchase of cottage industries products. So directly purchasing the products from the cottage industries. So the government also purchases the finished products of cottage industries. Handloom products, etc. And it also helps them to sell their commodities, sell them internally as well as externally in showrooms, display centers, etc. So in this way, the government is assisting them, through a mediator, through a corporation, the government is assisting the small scale industries and the cottage industries to create the demand for the products. Okay, and see, in all these areas, the government established an organization to, in order to cater all this purchase of raw materials, purchase of the products of uh, the products of the small scale and cottage industries. The government has established an organization known as the National Small Industries Corporation. So it is a mediator between the government and the small scale industries, popularly known as the NSIC. So this NSIC, it provides a package of services to the small scale industries. Provides a package of services. So whatever the assistances which I just mentioned should be done by the government or doing by the government. So all those package of services, that mediator is the National Small Industries Corporation. So package of industries to the MSMEs as per their requirement. So what see, some of the services done by the this National Small Industries Corporation is assisting the small scale producers in getting the financing, and training the small scale producers, providing the raw materials, and also procuring orders from the government, various government departments, to the cottage and small scale industries products, for example, Khadi and all, army, military, police. So they all have supposed to wear the Khadi uniforms, isn't it? So all those handloom products, so they procure the orders from the various government departments to the cottage and small scale industries, and they help in uh, higher purchase of machinery for the small scale producers, higher purchase of machineries, because small scale producers, one thing, it is beyond the capacity for them to purchase or import the machinery. And another thing is that since they have to periodically keep on changing the technique of production, periodically they have to keep on changing the products, so the machinery will not work out. But installing a machinery is, it's a waste. So they have to keep on changing the machinery. So all the National Small Industries Corporation, they help in getting the higher machinery for higher purchase and delivering to the small scale producers, and also assisting them in marketing. So most of the facilities are provided by the National Small Industries Corporation, which is a mediator between the government and the small scale producer, assisting them in marketing. So whatever the areas which I have just mentioned, all these are done by the National Small Industries Corporation. Okay. And then next one is the protection against foreign competition. So in this, what the government has done is, by imposing heavy import duties. So imports will become costlier. Whatever the products that are manufactured by the small scale industries, if those, because of globalization, it can be imported easily. So heavy import duties against the import of similar products. But to a certain extent, only the government can increase the import duties. But since we are allowing the globalization, and India being the member of the World Trade Organization, it is not really possible to charge heavy import duty. There are certain rules and regulations. We cannot charge beyond a certain level of import duty. So that is affecting most of the small scale industries. And the next one is the establishment of training institutes to train the small scale producers, establishment of training institutions. So this by the government, like several industrial, vocational, polytechnic institutions, to train the small scale producers, people, and also train them and make them employable in the small scale and cottage industries. So make them employable in cottage and small scale. It is not only for the workers, even for the entrepreneurs also. So there are two things here. One is SISI, that is the Small Industries Service Institute, which has been established in different places, providing the training services. And also there is another institute, that is entrepreneurial Development Institute of India, which is training the people to become the entrepreneurs. So Development Institute of India. So these are all some of the popular training institutes providing the established by the government to provide the training facilities to the small scale producers. Okay, and then the last one is the handicrafts centers. So in this area, several handicrafts development centers have been established, have been set up by the government to promote the handicrafts. So that's what that example, the cottage industries exposition, the Lepakshi. And the government has established all India boards, in the sense that like All India Handicrafts Board, Khadi and Village Industries Board, Coir Board, etc. Meaning, so each of these boards which are established by the government, they cater to the needs of that particular industry. So All India Handicrafts Board, they will cater to the needs of all the requirement, right from the raw materials to machinery to marketing the products, everything, financial assistance, everything will be taken, all the handicrafts, cottage industries. So all those needs are met by this handicraft board. Like that, the coir industry, the coir board takes care of all the needs of the coir industry. Khadi and Village Industries Board will take care of all the needs of the Khadi and Village Industries. So like then the government has established several boards. So they will, right from the purchase, whatever the requirements, whatever the assistance needed by them, everything is taken care of by these boards. And they will pass on the information to the National Small Industries Corporation. And through that, the various small scale industries and the cottage industries are assisted by the government. Okay. So these are all the some of the measures of the small scale industries. And the small scale industries is occupying a very major role in the development of our country. So the government is willing to provide whatever the kind of assistance required by the small scale industries in our country. Okay. So this topic is over. Next, one more topic you have is about the industrial finance, which I will explain to you in the next class. Okay. So if you find this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any doubts, please mention it in the comment box. Okay. So until my next class, take care. Bye-bye.